Hey y'all, welcome back to our podcast. We are three
Three
deep,
deep,
no
no
apologies.
apologies.
I'm Emily,
AP, you already know.
And it's Crystal.
and today is episode 4, and we are speaking about trauma, how it affects us, and how we go on through life without even realizing that it affects us.
Sometimes it can even come up like with how we raise our kids, communication. It can be overly thinking things through. It can be pain. It can be shut down. It can be any of those things that can trigger your trauma.
Yeah, sometimes you need to make sure that you probably talk to someone before even getting in a relationship at times because I know some of us tend to take those trauma pains with us in whatever relationship, as far as friendships, as far as your children, as far as your mom, your dad, whoever, just trauma from even just growing up that you never, talk to someone about. So when you go into a relationship, as far as your significant other, you're bringing that trauma from another relationship or trauma from parents growing up, and you bring that onto your children. So sometimes we just tend to take it out on everyone. So it can mean a lot. That's why you either need a strong person that can be beside you, that can understand and work through it with you. So there's a lot of touching subjects that we want to talk about today with you guys. So
Or even just dealing with it. I feel like a lot of times, even when the situation is over, it still lives inside of us because we never really deal with it. We always bury everything. And I always refer to trauma as part of being in the basement. You know how sometimes your basement be full of storage and we just throw everything down there and forget that it's even there. So one day you go down there and you looking through something and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I ain't see this in a long time. That's like trauma. That's like your trauma. Our trauma has been trapped in the basement for so long that it doesn't even come up until a situation may happen. Then all of a sudden you're hit with this thing that you thought you buried a long time ago, but you never even really faced it or dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? And it can impact how we even love our partners, how we love ourselves, how we, even have regular relationships, friendships with women, people in general. It can be anything because we don't like to deal with the pain. So we're here now to talk about those situations. We're going to be absolutely vulnerable with you. We may cry, we may laugh, we don't know. However it takes us, we just going to go with the flow, y'all. I hope y'all ready.
yes, because we want to get to the deep down nitty gritty. We want to talk about stuff with all of you that we went through personally. So hopefully you guys can relate to that because I know I have a lot of trauma as a young person, and sometimes I even think I can probably create my own trauma as well, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one of you want to start off and talk about experiencing some of your own traumas in that area to reach out to people who may be related to what we're going
Yes.
through. So
Have you ever felt stuck in survival mode or struggled with letting people in or wonder why certain things can trigger you so deeply? This conversation is for you. So, does anybody remember when the first time that they realized that trauma was affecting their life?
I had actually a trauma blockout, something that actually happened to me that I forgot about, and it wasn't until, you know, we all was talking about a situation. I was like, wow, I forgot that even had happened to me, and I thought about it, and I was just so shameful. And once I started talking about it with the person, I was like, oh my God, I did go through that, and it's just so difficult to even talk about on here. I really don't even want to share that part because I can't. I have my brothers and stuff on here.
It's hard to go back.
I can't go. I don't want to share that part. But I want to talk about my childhood trauma as far as something that I went through with myself. Many of you may know who know me, I was a teen mom. I was married at a very young age. I did so many mistakes in my life. I don't want to say mistakes because I love my child, but the child that I do have, my oldest, she made me be the woman that I am today. I will say she's part of that. But I did so many bad things to people, some just because of stuff that I was dealing with and my insecurities within myself. Sometimes I hurt a lot of people based on me not feeling like I was loved enough, or just wanting to know like more about me because I was so young trying to be somebody's wife that I had no business being, because I never really dealt with my pain from me being so young and being a mom and so lost. Like, I gave up so much just to even be a mom. And I have daughters that I try not to think that they're going to be the same way as me, because let's just face it, they won't be able to handle the woman I am. But as far as me being a young mom, I wouldn't wish that on my kids, because the kids today in this world can't even be, the kind of mom that I wind up being. I push everything to the side. That means I couldn't buy me no clothes because I needed diapers or milk and stuff like that. I had to step up to the plate. So I do become a little bit too much at times, because I don't want that same path that I took for them. I want them to be able to go to prom. I want them to be able to, finish high school. I want them to be able to be successful in life and just know it's more than just being somebody's mom. We have choices. When we grew up in my generation, if you was to be pregnant, hey, you just got to keep that baby. But I want my kids to know, like, no, there are alternatives. There is options out here. I don't want that for my child, but I do want them to decide what they would like to do. But trauma can be real. Sometimes because just because you got pregnant at a young age, you felt like you had to have a child, you had to get married. No, there's answers. There's solutions to that. I learned that, no, talk to your kids. Make sure that's what they want. Don't force them to do anything as well, because then they're going to grow up with trauma because they're not ready for a mom.
Yep.
Let's just face it. When you force that on your children, a lot of kids today, there's a case right now where someone, I don't even know if you can say this on YouTube, where they killed their child because they're afraid to talk to their parent about it. Or they bury them and they hide them because of their parents being so strict. So just try to have an open relationship with your kids. Don't hide your past from them.
Yeah.
Teach them.
So,
Talk to them.
so do you think that because of past situations, made you be so overprotective of your child?
To be honest, you would think that, but because of my past situations, I'm not overprotective. I learned that with myself, because I think about when I was that age. I always go back to my age. And a lot of parents don't even agree with me, but I just wanted my mom to listen to me. I wanted her to understand. I wanted her to hear me out. Like, I wanted, even though my mom was open to a lot of things, like if I became pregnant, she would be here to support me. But I just wish she would have told me, like, April, you don't have to have this baby.
You don't have to get married.
Right, and she never did that. She told me, like, from how she grew up and how she was, from her trauma, being a young mom, getting married, I followed into that footsteps. But there was a way out. I'm not condoning, like, getting rid of your kids or nothing like that. That's not what I'm saying either. But I'm just saying you can still have a life. So I try to have an open relationship with my child. I let her know, girl, listen, you're young. You ain't ready. That's what I tell them. But don't put yourself in that situation to be somebody's mom.
Yeah.
Because trust me, you can't buy those shoes you want. You can't buy those lashes you want. You can't do none of that, because you got to put your child first. So I have an open relationship with my kids. I think from my trauma, I learned to listen. And I learned to help them through anything and let them know that there's ways out in life and you can have your teen life. Because when you don't have a teen life as a mom, when you get my age, you tend to kind of, like my kids are a little older. You tend to like still want to like go see Chris Brown, for instance, and Usher. Like, no, girl, no.
Yeah.
You had your time. So
There's a moment. But
Like,
so
for me-
it's safe to say that April mom operated off of fear
Right.
for you. And you're breaking that cycle right now. That cycle stops with you. And I think that's a great thing that you spoke about that and being so vulnerable and open about parenting, because a lot of people again won't agree with those type skills, but I think that everybody can look at it from all angles and to know that for you, this is how you wanted to bring your kids up. I love that.
Yeah. I think it's important for us as parents to stop being so paranoid just because you are. They gotta be kids.
It's fearful.
You
Come
know,
up with
they
a place of
have to.
fear.
That's just how I learned. Like I don't.
Right.
God forgive me, but I love my mom with all of my heart. But I choose to parent different.
Yeah,
Like
there's nothing
I
wrong with
choose
that.
to not be so like, okay, it's all right. You know, you could get married. Like that's how my mom was. She was a young mom. What she was eight? Was she 18? I believe
17.
17. She
17,
was
17, 18,
married,
got married.
you know, and I chose to do that because that's how I saw my mom. But I don't want, for me, I tell from my trauma and my experience, it was the worst one. I was a bad wife. I was, and I know that now, and I'm not afraid to say it because I did him terrible. I really did. But I'm not saying he ain't do me any better, but it's because we both
You're
were
a kid.
kids trying to be, you know,
Adult.
parents. And I'm not ashamed of anything that I did because it made me be the woman I am today. In that relationship, I just was good at first for the first year. You know, it was all fun. Where I was like basically playing house. You know, and
Basically.
I try to protect my kids to tell them that you think you are in love at a young age, you're not. You don't even know yourself.
Yep.
Like you don't want to do that just because that's what you grew up around.
Yeah.
Stop looking at, well, mom, you did it. No, you do something different. Go to
better than me.
school, right?
Yeah.
Finish. You know, get an education. Like you don't want to ever have to settle short because you somebody mom at 16.
Yeah.
You just don't have, or 14, whatever the age is. At the end of the day, I just feel like trauma actually helped me as well. Like you have to have trauma, but
You learn from it.
you have to talk to someone about it as well because you will take it in your relationship. I just want to talk about the kids for a minute because you know we have teenagers that are growing up and that we are afraid to watch them grow up. So sometimes I don't know. Do any of y'all ever have a I am my mom moment?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh yeah.
That's why I want to talk about this because I know like I don't want to put my daughter business out there too much, but she told me a situation about herself that she was feeling, and I had to tell her, whoa, 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 whoa. First of all, you're too young for that. At the end of the day, your success is better. Become someone, and then at that time when you're old enough to feel like this is what you really want or this is how you want to do it, then do it. In the meantime, get yourself I just
Still
don't
be a
understand
kid. Stay a kid.
why kids want to have boyfriends and girlfriends or whatever it is so bad
Not me.
so fast. I just don't understand. Just be friends. You're not even old enough to handle that. How many kids are so suicidal because a girlfriend or a boyfriend don't want to be with them no more?
Yeah, that's true.
Because they don't understand the feeling
Exactly.
and the
the only
emotion. They're
reason-
not
Ready for that.
Right. And kids, I know especially our children, I feel like it's learned behavior too. You know, I think that sometimes we open up too much to our kids. I think we share too much, even though it's okay, but just talk to them about it. Just because you see me and your dad been together since we were children, why want that for yourself?
Yeah, I tell MJ that all the time.
Choose
Like,
more.
me and your dad been together for a long time, but it's not, you know, everybody's story is not the same. You know what I mean? You might meet somebody and you're with them for 5 years or 2 years or whatever, and then they break your heart, and then you never see them again. Or you end up having a baby with somebody that you don't even really love. You know what I mean? Like, and now you're miserable because now you're stuck with this person, and now you got a baby, and now your kids got to watch y'all. You know, like, it's just, like, I don't want that for him. Like, or any of my kids, you know? And I do tell them, like, you know, I want y'all to be better than me. I want y'all to go to college and do something with yourself. Because there's a lot of things that I wouldn't say, I wouldn't necessarily say regret, but I do wish that I would have did life differently. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, I want my kids to go to college to get that experience, you know, to be able to have fun and go travel the world at 18 years old. I didn't get to do that. I'm traveling the world now with my kids for the first time. So I want them to be able to live their life and enjoy life as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, the way that it's supposed to be.
Again, our story is not their story. You have to be the author of your own book, your own chapter, your own life. Just because I did it this way doesn't mean that was the right way. That was just the cards that I was dealt.
Right.
The future that we're creating
for you, so you can have different cards, more advantages than we
Right.
had, more advantages than disadvantages. So we want you to just go out there and really live, really find out who you are. Do not get caught up in what this world think that you're supposed to be like. You're not. If you're if you're like a smart person, don't hide that you're a smart person. If you're a creative person, don't hide that you're a creative person. Just do you. Just be that. Just be great in life, because you only get one. You only get one life, you know. So I think that was pretty good talking about the kids.
Yeah, because that's our like that was just for me, like my childhood trauma is me being
Yeah.
a young mom.
Yeah.
That's for me being a young mom. We all have other traumas. That's just in like with your children. Like, why do I have so much trauma, and trying not to trigger them and bring it onto them? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, we are still talking about trauma, but it's important to make sure that your childhood trauma is not interjected into your children. Talk to them about it. Be open to them about it. Hear what they have to say to make sure that they're on the right path. Because trust me, these kids today, they can't do it. They don't even want to wash dishes.
And I feel like it could be like a good thing and a bad thing bringing the trauma, because sometimes the good thing is that you're trying to show them a different way, show them a different life to live. But then again, sometimes it can be bad as well, because then it's like now you're still triggering your trauma and bringing your trauma into to this situation. So sometimes it could be good to have that trauma, to have a good reflection on it, but then sometimes it's not good because it can also be a bad reflection as well. So it could go both ways.
Yeah. Because that's your trauma.
Operating in fear.
Right.
Your trauma produces fear in your children, because you never really healed from that, or even got help for it, or sometimes never even spoke about it to somebody.
Right.
And then you don't realize that that's what it is until you have kids and have certain conversations or react to certain things with your children. And then after you have that conversation, do you immediately sometimes feel regretful for how you handled it?
I know I do.
I know I do. And it's like, man, sometimes I need to take a beat before I go in that room and say what I say to them. Is this the right way to handle it? How am I coming off? Am I operating from a place of fear? I don't want to put that on my kids, because I always want my kids to be open and honest with me. They're not going to tell you everything, but you want them to be able to come to you. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's something that we need to heal on the inside from our own trauma, so we don't cause it and make it turn into fear to project on our children. That's really important.
Yeah.
So back to the fearful
Side, we're still talking about, I'm sorry, not fear. We're talking about trauma. I want to speak from daddy issues.
Oh gosh,
We're going to talk about daddy issues, because I really feel it's important, as a little girl, as a young lady, as a young woman, your first reflection of a man is your father, who you look up to, the kind of man that you want to marry, the kind of relationship with a man that you want to have. We never really got that growing up. My father's not here right now. He's no longer with us. But I want to say, growing up in that way, it wasn't easy, because I used to be a daddy's girl, and it was kind of it was kind of hard. It was kind of hard. I used to get away with a lot of things with my father because I was a kid, and I never really understood what was going on until I started getting older. And I started seeing like how he treated the household, how he treated, his children, his wife, and I knew like that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted a relationship with my dad. I wanted to be able to call my dad my best friend. I wanted to be able to just, Dad, let me talk to you for a minute about this, or let me talk to you about that. Never really got a chance to, be a daddy's girl. Never really got a chance to just go hang out with just us two. And just how you speak to a woman, how you
be affectionate
with a woman.
Yeah, was deprived of that
A little bit. And I know a lot of it has to do with his own trauma and his own childhood. And that goes back to what we said. When you operate from your past and don't get help for it, you end up repeating the cycle and affecting your kids, because when your kids grow up, they don't know what to look forward for in a man, in a partner. It's like, okay, I want to do opposite of what I saw growing up. But then somehow, somewhere, there's little sprinkles of whatever that was when you was growing up in that person you with. You know what I'm saying? And then you try so hard to fight it and be against it and run from it that it's always there. It's always there. And it's hard sometimes trying to fight that because you can't help the situation. Now it's like I'm in a confronting stage. Let me confront this. You know what I mean? This is what I'm not going to happen. This is what I'm not going to tolerate. This is what I don't want for my children. I want relationships. I want trust. I want love. I want intimacy. I want passion. I want you to hug me. I want you to tell me I'm beautiful. I want you to bring me flowers just because. I want you to go ahead and help out in the house, no matter how much you worked or whatever it is. Come just help out without, feeling like you owed something or whatever the case may be. Just because you love your house, you love your home, you love your family that you build, you want to do these things. That is what it is about, having a partnership and escaping trauma and not repeating the cycle. It has to be broken.
Yeah. You have to break those generational curses.
You have to break those generational
Curses. And not growing up with that, and not it's kind of hard, but you don't recognize it until you get older.
You know what I mean? That you really
Had those kind of issues with men because you end up in so many bad relationships, so many bad situations where you're drowning. You're trying so hard to make this thing happen. It's not supposed to happen because you don't know who you are and you don't know what love look like.
Right.
You don't know what it looked like to be loved properly,
But yeah, to piggyback off of what you said, because we're sisters, obviously. But all right, so about my dad, since he's no longer here, I don't want to go too in on him. I do love him so much. God bless him because he never left. One thing I want to give him credit for, no matter what, he never left. He stood there and he did what he did, and he raised us the best way he knew how. One thing he did taught me was to always keep a job. I tell you that much. He taught me that. So thank you, Daddy, for that. And that was part of my trauma still growing up. I don't know if it's so much a bad thing or a good thing, but I am overly obsessed with having a job. So I just have a problem just thinking like my man's going to change on me or my man's going to look at me if I don't have this, if I don't have that. Like, I just be so worried because I don't want it to ever be a time where like something's not getting paid and you're hiding it from me and now the lights is off because you just didn't tell me or we just didn't have the money. So he did turn me to make sure you have a job. Make sure you know when he get paid. Make sure you know how much he get paid. Make sure, like I am so obsessed with that.
bank accounts.
Checking them bank accounts.
I drive my man crazy. That is like a part of my trauma though, that I feel like I have to be your equal. Like, I need to be your equal. I need to know what's going on. Because my mom was, like, raised from back in the day. Whereas though you let the man take lead. You don't ask questions. You just, no. I need to know everything. There ain't going to be, no, sir, how much, when we get paid, what we got in the bank, what we this, what we that. And that does come from childhood trauma. Because sometimes with me being like that, my man don't feel like, like what I'm here for. If you want to do everything, what I'm here for. So sometimes childhood trauma is a lot. So with this one that I'm with now, I'm more open. I talk to him about like my past and how I grew up and, how hard it was for me as a kid because I used to be like hurt, I want to say. I don't want to see like upset with my parents, but I just didn't understand why we couldn't have this or why we couldn't have that. But now being the parent that I am today, I can't imagine what those late night talks was between them two, just trying to make sure that we can have growing up. And that's what I be trying to instill in my children. But kids don't realize that because they supposed to be kids. They're not supposed to have those worries.
Protected us.
Right. I don't let them worry about, our finances and stuff like that because they are kids. Let them be kids. But it's just important, like, to make sure you talk to your partners about, those hurts in your life. So it won't just continue to be repeated. But I mean, it was rough trying to grow up and trying to figure out life. Like, because when we grew up, we didn't really, we just figured it out. Like, you just got to figure out your life yourself. That's why I try to, talk to my kids about how important it is to know about your credit. How important it is to have money in your bank account for like hard times and stuff like that. But it's just so important that you do have an open relationship with your family about
Well,
things that you went through in your household. But we're not talking bad about our parents.
no, but survival mode is crazy.
Though we learn how to survive. One thing's for sure, two things for certain. We learn survival mode. We come from an era. If your parents got to go to work, it's lock that door. Don't open the door for nobody. I don't care who it is. It's let the phone ring 3 times, hang it up. Then I'm gonna call back and pick it up. You know it's me. Era. That's where we from, and that's why we are so strong. That's why we know how to survive. That's why we know how to make food stretch. So yes, we have we have some good and bad takeaways from certain things, but we know now how to recognize it, how to confront it, and how to grow from it, and don't let it control us.
And what about the trauma pains from a previous relationship, or just from your mom or dad, like arguing or something like that? How do you not take that into the next relationship? Like, let's say you yell so much because your household growing up was just yelling. How do you not take that on into your relationship?
Well, now the thing I think with us now is that we recognize it, because in the beginning, let's just be honest, in the beginning of our relationships, we did the same exact thing, because that's the way we knew how to communicate, because that's how we saw our parents communicate. I was violent. I'm not even going to hold you. I was a violent person in my relationship. I'm always ready to throw hands. And I think that's because I had to grow up with such a tough exterior. You know what I mean? My first relationship, I have 2 kids by, a previous relationship. And I always just wanted to fight. It's like I'm on self-defense mode, walls up. When you look at me a wrong way, you say a wrong word to me, I feel like I got to protect myself. So I'm on go all the time. I'm always in the red. My relationship I'm in now, in the beginning of our relationship, it was a lot of alcohol involved. It was a lot of we was young, we was really young growing up, trying to learn from whatever trauma he was going through, whatever trauma I was going through. And the only way we knew how to communicate, when you get mad, I'm going to buck up. I'm ready. I'm always ready. I'm in your face. I'm like a dude. And I've learned throughout the years, because I've been in my relationship for 25 years now. I learned throughout the years that I don't have to be that girl anymore. I can be soft. I don't always got to be on guard all the time in my relationship. And I don't want to be angry. And I don't want my kids to learn to be angry as well. You know what I'm saying? How about you, E? With your dad?
With me, it's pretty much the same thing, because, I grew up in a household with, my dad was abusive. He was an abusive father, not only to my mom, but to us as well. And he did have an addiction. He had, he still is a drug addict and an alcoholic. So growing up, seeing that, that is traumatizing. It was times where, we would defend my mom and he would hit us. It was times where it was just a lot. And my dad, I would say my dad was in my life. He was in the household with us, till we was about, till I was about, I want to say maybe 15 or 16 years old. And then he left, my mom and him, it was just too toxic. So he did leave. And then it was just my mom and her kids. So with that, I knew that when I got into a relationship, I was not going to be with a man who would abuse me. Like, I said that from the beginning. Like, if you ever put your hands on me, that's just like a no-go. Like, because I did not want, I didn't want to experience what it was like to be in an abusive relationship. And I didn't want my kids to see how it would be to be in an abusive relationship. Because that is like, every day it was something, like a fight or an argument, or, one time he tried to burn the house down with us in it. So it was a lot. And it's just like, even now, it's like, I don't have a relationship with my dad now. It has been maybe, I want to say maybe 5 years since I've spoken to my dad, see my dad. And, it does hurt me, but I'm at the point where I'm like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I still love him. He's still my father. But at the end of the day, I feel as though, like, how can you go to sleep at night, every single night, waking up knowing you have kids, because not only is it me, I have 5 other sisters. You know what I mean? And I have children, so like that really bothers me, knowing that I have kids and you don't even really know my kids, and you don't even wake up thinking like, oh, how is my daughter? Like I moved to Texas. It's almost been a year. My dad hasn't reached out to me, and it does hurt. I'm not gonna say that it doesn't hurt. It does, but I'm just at the point where I'm like, it is what it is. I'm fine. I'm in a good relationship. I have a good man. He's nothing like my father. Nothing compared. My daughters have a great father. They have a great relationship, and I'm just grateful that I did pick a man who is a completely different man than the father that I had. So yeah.
Okay.
I got a question though. Do you think that your trauma from your father, did you inherit any of those characteristics in a relationship with your kids and how you parent them?
And if so, and that did happen, how did you change? Or do you think you still need to change?
I do. I mean, I do feel like there. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm a perfect mom. That I'm not. Sometimes I do get frustrated with my kids. I do yell at them. I wouldn't say that I'm abusive to them, because I'm not. I'm not gonna say that I don't yell at them, because I do. But that is something that I'm working on. I want to be able, and that's just not even me being a parent. It's me being in a relationship in general. That's just I feel like it's a what's that word? Just a reaction. Like that's just a reaction that I am working on. But I want to say that my kids do have a better life than what I did, 100%. There's things that I've experienced that my kids never had to experience, and I'm grateful for that. We lived in a house where we sometimes didn't have hot water, we didn't have electric, we didn't have, there was times we didn't really have food, and my dad, he wasn't living with us at the time, but he was with another woman, and they got food stamps, and my mom couldn't apply, she wasn't eligible for it because she made too much money. So we would call my dad saying, hey, can you buy us some meat or something? And, oh, I don't have it. I don't got it. Mind you, we know how much money you get in. You know what I mean? Or we'll go visit him and his whole freezer is filled with food. And it's like, you have 3 daughters that are hungry. Not really hungry, but, we're struggling. My mom is struggling to take care of us. And meanwhile, you're living this life and you can't even help us. Like, how, like, that's just, it's really sad.
It's hurtful. It's really hurtful.
Right, but I feel like the only way to, one day when you're ready, I mean, I know you don't want to hear this, but I think a conversation is needed when that, only reason I'm saying that because, like, my dad is not here anymore, and I know that's why I'm saying it. So you are still entitled to feel how you feel, but I think, like, just for yourself, to make you a better person, like, just to even call and just say exactly just that. Exactly just that.
Yep.
That'll even make you feel better and say, you know what, but I love you no matter what. It's needed because that's dealing with trauma.
Knowing that you forgave him.
Right, because that's going to make you a better you for your husband and everything. Because do you ever find yourself, like, I know all of us just yelling out of frustration or something, like for me, I'm not jealous. I won't say that. But like me moving to Texas right now, for some reason, since I've been living here, I miss my mom so much, so very much. And I could see my fiance, he's on the phone talking to his mom because he's, his day not so good, and they're just having a conversation or whatever. So sometimes I do catch myself just like having that moment. But, one thing I can say, I am grateful that, God did give me the years that I did have with her. And she was a wonderful woman who made me a wonderful person. She was so good to us that we forgot how much my dad lacked. So at least we did have that.
Right.
You know what I mean? At least we did have that in our life. But if my dad was alive today, now, which I think we all did already, I put my hands around him. And it don't even matter. Just to put my hands around him and say, Dad, I love you. And I understand. I get it. It's hard. You did the best you could do. But I just appreciate you never leaving us. That's what I would.
I want to piggyback off of what you said.
Said because I had a chance to do that with him. He was staying with me before he passed away, and I had a moment with him where I sat him down. We was in the room, we was talking, and I said, "Dad, I don't even care about the past. We can't even change what happened in the past." I said, "I just want a relationship."
Sorry. I just want to have a relationship with you, and I want my kids to have a relationship with you, you know, something that we never had. And I said, I forgive you. And then he hugged me, and then he was like, I love you. I said, I love you so much. He said, thank you for that. And I'm just glad, like, I was able to have that moment with him, that closure with him, knowing that we was ready to actually start the next chapter. You know, I was able to close that past life that I didn't get with him and focus on what's next. You know, we was kind of excited for that. We had plans, you know, and God had other plans, unfortunately. But like April said, he never left us, and he loved us the only way he knew how. Because after talking to his family after he passed away, a lot of stuff came out that we had no idea about. So we understand how he couldn't love us if he had nothing, if he didn't know how to do it. So
That's
I thank my parents
for us being able to love on one another. No matter how much we get on each other's nerves, we never leave each other. It's 7 of us. Mm-hmm. And we never, ever leave each other no matter what. I don't care. We don't talk for weeks, months, whatever. We always rocking. We always rocking with each other. I love all of my siblings, and I owe that all to my parents.
And that's why I'm glad that she said that, because, like, you see her emotions and stuff. Mm-hmm. Imagine you get that phone call, your dad is dead now. You never even got to say that. At least with my father, you know, he was able to tell us all. And say, I love you all. You know, he know, like, he wasn't the perfect dad, but he did the best he knew how. And I know everybody gonna say, well, at least he never left. But unless you grew up with us, you don't know how it was to have a dad there who did not know how to be affectionate, who did not know. And he tried. And
it's like having something there that you can't touch.
But we love him. We do. We always gonna love him. And, you know, in the end, he knew God. You know, he was raising his hands in the hospital, you know. So that's why I'm saying, like, the stuff that you're so angry with about your father, to be honest, that's between your father and God. Because he got to deal with him too. Yeah. While you got that time, I swear, like, you should call him right now.
It's going to take, listen.
It's going to take, you see that reaction?
Next episode, we'll save it.
Because she's not ready.
She's not ready.
When you come to a place in your life and in your heart, you're going to want to forgive. Because trust me, holding on to stuff that is not meant for you to hold on, that is not yours to hold on anyway, you're supposed to give all that stuff to God. Let him carry that for you. It's not your job to carry it. You know what I'm saying? When you're ready, you're going to come to a place where you can just say, you know what? I forgive you. It's not for him. Right. It's for you. That forgiveness is for you. You know, he can do whatever he wants with it. You put it out there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And long as you know that when he closes his eyes, or when you close your eyes, you close that chapter.
Right.
Because you closed that chapter, and you was okay with where it was at.
Right. Because you already got so much to be grateful for, you know. Whatever your dad was lacking for you, you know, God gave you a husband to provide, to feed, to nurture, to be there for your children. Someone that everything that you may not have gotten with your father, your kids is getting with their father.
Think about it like that. I
like that, sis. That was a good point.
You got to think of it like that. And to be
everything
honest,
you cried for,
right,
you got now.
And you just gotta.
Good one.
And I know, like, I can't tell you not to hurt, because at the end of the day, he did so much, and you had to endure with so much. But you should look at it like this way: he taught you what not to deal with, what not to settle.
That's what I said.
Not right. So that's why.
That's why I'm like, it's cool, because I know what I knew what type of relationship I wanted. You know, I'm not gonna say that my marriage was perfect or whatever, but he was nowhere near, or is nowhere near, like how my father is or was. You know what I mean? He's never been abusive. He's not a drug addict. He's not an alcoholic. He didn't abandon his family. He takes care of his household. He takes care of his kids. He's an active father. He does everything with them. You know what I mean? He takes take them to the park, take them to the movies, take them. I never experienced that with my dad. I could count on one hand how many times my dad took me out to eat. You know what I mean?
And
So
that's a good thing. That's not something that we can't take for granted, because we all have men who always come and show up for their children. And that's one thing that I want to, even though it's Mother's Day weekend, okay, I do want to say thank you, men, for that. You
Yes.
know, thank you for that so much. And being able to deal with us in our trauma. I'm sorry in advance for yelling at you. You know, I'm sorry for shutting you out. I'm sorry for not, talking to you about what I have going on. But that's just because I'm trying to deal with my trauma that I still have to this day. I still
what she said, y'all.
Yes, I still suffer from trauma.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, the reason why I shut you out is because my words is not good. Okay, with that being said, even though we love our men, I want to say something to y'all two beautiful ladies and myself. It is our Sunday, our weekend coming up for Mother's Day. Even though it's every day, we're always our good mothers.
That part.
Right.
period.
Let's not take our trauma on this day. Mom, I love you. I want to start off saying that. I wish you was here with me, but I want to be just how you was on that day. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to look fresh. I'm going to be smelling nice, and I'm going to sit on that couch like this, waiting to see who's going to take me on. Somebody better take me somewhere.
My mom ain't play.
So all the beautiful moms out there as well. And Mama, we love you.
Yep. And I want to say to my mom, I want to say that I love you so much, and I'm gonna cry.
Your
but
mom not dead?
I know, but
Sorry.
still, I'm just, girl,
Be emotional.
I'm just, just so grateful for, we didn't have the best, we didn't have the best things. We didn't have, a lavish lifestyle, but I'm just so grateful for, the struggles that she did go through. She pushed us to do better. We graduated high school. She molded me into the mother that I am today. And without her, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I'm just so grateful for her, for everything that she does for me, for my children. She always shows up for us. No matter what, she's there. You call her, she's going
Shout
to
out
be there.
to Big Ange.
Angie.
Shout out Big Ange.
Shout out. I love
Shout
that.
out
I
to
love
Big
that.
Rose as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Making us, she did a good job.
She gave me my husband. She
Yeah, your husband. Shout out to right, and also thank you, Mama, for loving me even though I am a little cuckoo.
And loving me too. I'm not your daughter by blood, but you love me like a daughter, and you always told me that. And I still have messages on my phone
To prove that.
Yes, I do.
But don't mess with her son. It's like,
But she didn't mess with me either though, because she didn't play either. She told her son, like, you better go get that girl back. You better stop playing with her. You better go
I
get
know
her.
that's right. I love that, y'all. This was great. One more thing I want to talk about. What has helped you begin your healing journey?
what has helped me begin my healing journey is always my kids.
Good.
My kids help me because even with the losses, me moving out here, I'm dealing with so much, and nobody don't even understand that I don't want to talk about because I'm a strong biatch. I got myself. But I do want to say my children, if it wasn't for them, when I lost my mom, then turning around to lose my dad, that's also trauma. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with that. That is a part of trauma with me. Like, the moment my mom died in my arms and I held her and I told her, because I never was the one who wanted to talk to my mom about accepting that she's going to be with the Lord. And she would always go to my sister for that, but I was finally ready. We had a conversation about how she wanted to be, her send-off was going to be going to heaven. And because of the grace of God and who she was in Christ, that happened for her. But when she took her last breath, I told her And she was such a strong woman. She tried to even tell me something, but the words would not come out. But I know it would have been, I love you all, and, just stick together. I know that's what it would have been. But I still have that moment in my head every day. I stood there, I wiped my mom off and everything. I was there until the bag was zipped up. I was there till I was there. If I could have been there with her through everything, I would have been, because she was my mother. But that's trauma.
Yeah.
That's trauma to somebody. My dad, I couldn't make it there. Just trying to be there before he took his last breath, because he was alone and he had to be in that hospital. That's trauma. But if it wasn't for my kids, I would have been probably tried to off myself. I would have probably been in somebody's hospital. And God, I have to give it to the Lord above as well, because I wouldn't be here. But my kids help me every day of my life. I give it to them. Shout out to my children. Seriously.
Amen.
And I was gonna say that. You mentioned that.
And I say what helped me begin my healing journey was I was in a dark, dark place. Losing my mom. Losing my mom at the same time my son got sentenced. And then after that, my father, and then watching him as they try to resuscitate him over and over and over and over, was really hard for me. Questions in my head: could I have done something differently? Could I have been there or noticed something before that happened? I was in a dark, dark place. And I think what helped me begin my journey was that I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't want to breathe. I didn't want to feel. I just wanted to be numb, and
One moment.
I get a knock on my door, and it's one of my kids, and automatically it's like, boom, you got to snap right out of it. And that's God sending his angel, sending a message to say, daughter, I am with you. You are not alone. I'm here to carry it. Give it to me. And as I hear these words, God speaking to me, I was introduced to a healing group, a women's healing group, and it helped me face my trauma that I didn't even know I had, maybe right out from ages 3 on up to my adulthood, that I didn't even realize that I still had there. And learning from that and growing from it and throwing it away and knowing that I'm not responsible to carry any of that anymore really helped me form the person that I wanted to be. There's this woman who is not afraid. This woman who's not afraid of messing up. This woman who is not afraid of saying, I didn't do that right, or I made a mistake. I am not afraid of any of that anymore. I'm not afraid to say, I know I'm worth more than that. I'm not afraid to say that I'm going to do better than that. I am better than that. I'm not afraid of any of that stuff no more. And that is because I was at my lowest point of not wanting to be here no more. So ain't nothing in this world is going to stop me from doing what I need to do for my kids. I'm such a big baby. For my kids, and just standing in my truth and not letting nobody snatch that away from me. Because I almost snatched it away from my kids from being so selfish. And I'm just so grateful to my family. I'm grateful to God. And I'm grateful for the woman that he is transforming me to be, because I know he got big things coming for us. I'm speaking all of that into advance. I'm so grateful to the relationship I have right here with my sisters, man. And this outlet that we have to be able to be vulnerable, to be able to help someone who's in need right now and going through the same situations that we were in, to let you know that you come out on top, baby. You come out on top. You don't have to stay there. You rise to the occasion. You stand up, because you are somebody. You have a purpose. So stand up and rise, baby. Rise from them ashes.
There's always light at the end of the tunnel.
And you know what's crazy from like me and my sister experience? I want to say this. As much as people and we say your parents caused the trauma, just wait till you're not here no more. You're going to realize they don't even matter. Because you're going to realize they just did the best they knew how.
Yeah.
Love on your
They
parents.
was dope.
Hug them while they here. Even though they might have helped with some of that trauma that you might be dealing with or you might be experiencing, let me tell you something. They love you. they really love you and they just want the best for you. So I say to
forgive.
my kids as well, you got your mama. I'm here. You know, come love on your mama. Because let me tell you something, as much as I might be your trauma or however you might want to say or whatever you have to say about me, just know I am here. I never left. And I've always tried my hardest to be the best mom that you guys need. Just know that. And it was because of a woman named Rosemary. Just know that. Just know it. You want to say something about your
What about healing?
healing?
To me, I just feel
You
like
begin your healing journey.
that saying that says, you can't focus on what you can't control. And that's just how I feel. Like whatever you can't control is out of your hands. Like at the end of the day, I just live my life. I wake up and I'm grateful for everything that I have. I'm grateful for the people around me who love me for me, who are genuine. I'm grateful for my children, trying to be the best mother that I could be to them, and just grateful that they are great kids, and I know that they're gonna be special one day. They're gonna do better things than what I've done. They're gonna experience life differently than what I did. And I'm gonna be a part of that as well because I'm gonna be living my life with them too.
Exactly.
I'm just grateful that I can give them a life. Me moving here to Texas, I knew that it was the best decision that I could make for them. Ever since we've been here, they've been thriving in school. They've been doing amazing. And I'm just grateful for, taking that leap of faith again, like I said, and just trusting in God, knowing that everything that He has for you, He's going to provide for you. It might not be at the right timing or it might not be when you want it, but He's going to make a way no matter what. He's going to make a way.
Amen. Amen to that.
And I think it's so beautiful that you guys can share your feelings on camera and, just let go. I still have a problem with that. I don't know. I just feel like me losing the parents the way I did, even though I know, it was their time to go to be with the Lord, I have a hard time with even crying. I just feel like there's no more left to cry.
Yeah.
There's just no more. So that's something that I've been dealing with too, personally. So if you see me shed a tear, just know, like, I'm like at my lowest point, like, and I'm trying to get back. But I feel everything that y'all saying. I think that is so beautiful that you guys can share your feelings with, everyone and let them know that it's okay to cry. You don't gotta be strong all the time. Let your emotions.
I want to say
Thank you for everyone who tuned in, being a part of this conversation with us. And just know that trauma is not always easy to talk about. But conversations like this, helps us remind people that they're not alone in what they feel or even what they've been through. If this episode connected with you in any kind of way, make sure you share it with someone who may need to hear it too. And remember, healing is not a race. You got to understand that. Give yourself some grace through every stage of it.
Yes.
one more thing.
So I want to say, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your post notifications and share this video so you never miss an episode. We appreciate every single one of y'all listening to us. Until next time, protect your peace, prioritize your healing, and keep showing up for yourself. We'll see you on the next episode.
Next time, 3 deep.
Three deep, no apologies.
That part.
Love
Happy
you
Mother's
guys.
Day.
Happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers out there. Keep doing your best and stay strong and just keep
We
going.
love you.
Watch us, please.
All right. Bye.